Turn the lights off. This darkness represents what it felt like when I was growing up, in an education system that I felt didn't really include me, didn't really allow me to shine and to succeed. Now I might be a master's student and a model, but that's because I have the fire and the desire to push forward and to become the best that I can be. I would like to give the fire to other students out there so they can burn bright just as much as I am, for we are melanated beings, we represent the sunshine. Turn the lights on. I'm going to take you through my journey, and through my journey, you're going to find some funny things. You're going to enjoy it, I think, as well. So, I remember when I was younger, my mum took me to Devon. And I remember in Devon, there was no one that looked like me. I think I was around 14. And I remember I came back to my mum and my stepdad, came in, and I think I was quite upset, but I'm not someone who really shows my emotions too much. I don't really wear my heart on my sleeve. And I remember I said to my mum, "Mum, why would you bring me here with people that don't look like me?" And I remember my mum said to me, "Shaun, you're a black boy. You've got to work hard and never be afraid to go anywhere in this world where people don't look like you." And I still run with that. What I'm going to talk to you about here is a seat at the table. And I have to thank my mum, first of all, for giving me a seat truly at that table. She raised me as a single mother. My dad died on Christmas Day. And my mum and I, we haven't always got along, but I have a great respect for her, and I value her very much. So I want to say thank you, Mum, first of all. So, as you know, I study a master's in race, media, and social justice at Goldsmiths University, and I hope to go on to do a PhD at Nottingham University in Black Studies. And through that, I would like to develop a thesis. So I'm not going to tell you too much about my thesis, it will ruin it. But I can tell you about my dissertation, and my dissertation is on the Black Panther movie and whether we can understand it as a form of black radical politics. And through studying that, I've learned so much. Now, working with one of my colleagues who's also in the crowd, Deji, we've been to schools. And when we go to schools, what happens? We create a project. We create a project around what we like to talk about. So Deji likes talking about the war on drugs with Richard Nixon. I like talking about the media's representation. We have another friend who likes talking about how the education system has been around for such a long time. And I remember when we first came into the class, we start talking about a lot of black history, and a lot of these students, they're so happy. They're so thankful to have someone that looks like them, because people don't understand representation matters. Undoubtedly. So you're sitting down, you're talking to these students, and as I said, they're really thankful that you're here and you're talking to them about things and people that they can look up to. And Black Panther movie wasn't the very first movie that we saw people that looked like us. There's other people and there's other movies, it just hasn't been celebrated. And I remember I went through education. And in my class, I think I was around 16 or 15. So when my teacher would be doing the work, what I would do, no, when my teacher was teaching, what I would do was I would actually do the work because I found the work to be that easy. And as a result of that, when my teacher was done teaching and everyone was doing the work, I had already finished the work. And I would ask the teacher, can I have some more work? And they never gave me any more work. So as a result, I distracted other students by talking to them. But my version of distraction was I was helping other students because they didn't have the perceived ability that I had. And I remember I came home to my mum one day and I said, "Mum, I need to go to a private school. I need to go somewhere that's going to hone in on my potential and allow me to be the best I can be." And understandably, my mum couldn't afford it, so I had to carry on. Parents' evening came, and the teachers were like, "Shaun likes to distract a lot of students. He's a bright child." Of course I know I'm a bright child. So I remember, this is like a visual representation. I was stuck here. And for a lot of my years, I've been stuck in this trauma of stop being complacent, let go of all your potential, let go of all your intellect. And that's where I find myself now. That's why I'm able to give you this TEDx talk. But I don't want other children to feel like me. And what I ask for is to have a black-centered curriculum in schools. Now, having a school is a bit too far-fetched for some people, and that change is not tangible for a lot of people. But I'd like to have a curriculum where children can learn about scientists, professors, so much more than what we have in society. History is whitewashed, undoubtedly, and that cannot be denied. Only now at 24, I'm learning about Nkrumah, Angela Davis, and countless other revolutionaries. Claudia Jones, I'm from Trinidad, and that's the first time I've ever heard of Claudia Jones. And that tells me a lot about what our children are learning and what I've had to go out and learn for my own self. Growing up without a father, I found my home in school. And school can act as a surrogate father to a lot of us boys, especially Caribbean boys. There's a drought, there's an epidemic going on where our fathers aren't there for a whole load of other reasons that we need to sort out and explore. So, I went through school. I remember I got to sixth form. And before sixth form, I was denied to be able to do the higher choice of GCSEs. So I had to settle for BTEC. I'd done that, I completed it. It was never really a challenge to me. And again, as I said, that was always my issue. I never found anything that really challenged me. So again, went to do my A-levels. I wasn't allowed to do those A-levels, so I had to drop down to a BTEC. And when I done my BTEC, my teacher said to me, "You're not going to pass. You're not going to get the best grade possible." And if anyone knows me, I love a challenge. If you tell me I can't do something, I will do it. And my mum is the best example of that. So I passed it. I threw the results down on the table to my teacher. My teacher smiled at me and said, "Well done." And too often, what I find is those who look like us, we believe they're always going to help us, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they reproduce the same ideologies and the same oppressive words that the rest of society gives to us. As I said, I don't want a child to feel like me. And a child that doesn't feel the warmth of his village will burn it down to eventually feel its warmth. That's something that's resonated with me ever since I saw the Black Panther movie, and it's one of the greatest African proverbs. Kehinde Andrews has just opened Black Studies at university level. Whilst I think that's amazing, what I also would ask is why can't we have that a lot earlier? We need it a lot earlier. A lot of children are going through and not enjoying education. And education is supposed to be a liberating experience. And in the words of Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing, "I will not rest until every black child is taught to love themselves as themselves." So going into these schools and talking to all of these students, and I remember I was talking to one of the students and I said, "How would you feel if you had a black-centered curriculum?" And they said, "We would love that. Could you come and teach us?" And I would like to make that reality something tangible for them, where they can learn about people that look like them and people that they can actually aspire to. And someone overheard my conversation when I was at one of these events. And I got a complaint from the organization that I'm with. I'm not going to mention names. I was told that it was racist, what I said, having a black-centered curriculum. And I want to define racism, because I think a lot of us can't define it. Racism is described as the prejudice, antagonism, or discrimination against someone's race and the belief that your own race is superior. Having your own curriculum does not make you racist. There's a big difference. It makes you, I want to put my race first because I understand we're being brushed under the carpet. And while some people are succeeding, there's too many people left at the back and left behind me. Through my own curriculum, what I would have is rewriting the prescriptive lines of education. And through rewriting those lines, I would be able to have people stop telling children you sound white, as if sounding educated is a space only for white people, and it's not. For my whole life, thank you. For my whole life, I've been told I sound white. I go on the phone and someone, when they saw me in person, like, oh, dad, damn. It was always that shock. Another thing that I've been through is my whole life I've been treated as if I'm mixed race, and I'm not mixed race. I come from the Caribbean. And anyone knows Caribbean history. It's very dense and it's very compact. We have to unpack it. And there's a narrative that's happening in society now where we're having a lot of Afrocentric social justice movements, and I'm thankful for that. But I believe a lot of us Caribbeans are quite lost. And I think in the words of Marcus Garvey, a people without a past history of their culture and origins is like a tree without roots. And I sat there and I remembered that. And I used to go to Trinidad every year, and I had a fantastic upbringing. I was able to know where home was. And there's a lot of children from Jamaica, St. Kitts, and so many other Caribbean islands that don't know their own history. There's fantastic writers in Barbados, such as Hilary Beckles. Again, Claudia Jones, I spoke about from Trinidad. We're not in Trinidad. you know, we're well known for carnival and so on, but there's a lot more than carnival. Like, there's a lot more to our history. And I would like to explore that through my own curriculum. That would be fantastic if I was able to do that. So, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk, and have a lovely day.